Think proactive going forward. If you're going to do one thing in 2011 to really change, put some things in your business plan, and we're going to talk about a host of them here when I get into the meat and potatoes of the presentation. But think proactive rather than reactive on things that will really move the needle for your business in 2011. If you just do that one thing, that's going to make a huge difference in reaching your goals this next year. Because again, tell me if I'm wrong, would most of you agree that the nature of our business has become more reactive as opposed to proactive? And we need to do something about it because we are a very proactive type consultative sales organization or sales industry. So what we need to do is we need to control the selling situation. The way to control the selling situation is to educate your clients on what they need to know and what they need to do. And that's our job. In doing so, you become an extension of the marketing team for the clients that you call on and the clients that you serve. And again, this is something top producers know very well. If they are seen as an extension of the actual marketing team of their clients, they are in and nobody else can touch them. So again, one key point, that's a nugget. Write it down. Think proactive in 2011. It's extremely important. Clients know our business very well. We need to know their business. It's very important to prospect heavily in 2011 to, again, move the needle with your business. Now, one of the ways to do that is to Google the clients that you're going to prospect. We're kind of into, I don't know if you know Chet Holmes, the Chet Holmes philosophy of education-based selling. We're studying that pretty heavily right now, and it's all about educating your client on getting them through the sales process. Not selling to them, but educating them on what they need to know. And one of the ways you need to do that is to Google and find out all you can about that company, learn about them so that you can go in and present to them, again, as an extension of their marketing team. So a very important point, make sure you know about your clients before you go in. One thing you want to do this time of the year too is build your Dream 50 accounts. And we're going to talk about how to do that, your Dream 50 prospects that you're not into currently that you want to get into. We're going to talk about how to do that. Corporate America now understands the value of our industry. That's a great thing. Corporate America now puts promotional products in their budgets. It wasn't that way for years and years and years. In fact, we were kind of that stepchild. It wasn't until 1994 that Advertising Age, the advertising magazine for advertising agencies, even recognized promotional products as a medium. Now we are. Now we're in the budgets. That's great. And finally, setting yourself apart from your competition is more important today than it's ever been in the past. And we're going to talk about ways to do that. You need to figure out what your unique proposition is in the marketplace, your unique strategic position. That's a new definition for USP. If you know USP, your ultimate or your unique selling proposition, your ultimate strategic position is the way I like to think about it, and everybody has one in here. So let's get into some of the meat here. First of all, how many of you are distributor owners in the room? A lot. Great. How many of you are distributor salespeople? Okay. I like to make this point because no matter if you own a distributorship or if you're a salesperson for a distributorship, we are in a very entrepreneurial business. I mean, we have 600 salespeople that work for Halo. And they're all pretty much doing their own thing every day. We don't watch over them to know, you know, who are you calling on, reporting, that type of thing. They're really in charge of you incorporated as a salesperson. And you really need to think, if you're in direct sales, you need to think of your business that way. So if you look at your sales business as you incorporated, you have to see yourself first as the president of you incorporated. The president of every company sets a strategic plan. Where are we going to be in 5 years? Where are we going to be in 3 years? Where are we going to be in 1 year? And in order to do so, it helps you think differently and you strategically plan out what you want to look like. As it would relate to 2011 alone, the 1-year plan, that goes back to our goal. That's what the president would do. Where do I want to be December 31st, 2011, and plan that out. The sales manager in you incorporated, again, as a salesperson, is how do I achieve the president's plan? Sales manager reports up to the president, and so the sales manager has to lay out a strategic plan to hit those goals for the president. And again, this is all you within the framework of your own mind and your own business plan. The sales representative, which is what a lot of salespeople in this industry only function as, is really the tactical person that just goes out and does it. So if you're getting up every day and you're just doing sales-oriented plans, like how many calls am I going to make today? I'm going to work in the office for a while, then I'm going to try and get out and make some cold calls or research some businesses or whatever. That's not really a good strategic way to go about your business. So think in terms of being you incorporated if you're in sales, and build a plan from top down on how you're going to achieve your goals. So a little bit of strategy there. All right, how do we plan for success? We've all heard the term, if you fail to plan, you plan to fail. Top producers always plan for success, and it's so important this time of the year. I love doing these presentations in early to mid-January because we've got the whole year to adjust for a business plan and what you need to do to succeed. And this is something that all top producers do this time of year, is plan where they are and where they're going. And so one of the things that you want to do in January, if you haven't done so already in December, is to look at your A, B, and C accounts, your categorized accounts, your top accounts, your middle accounts, your lower accounts, and decide where they are in the mix. And again, it goes back to something I mentioned earlier. Is your current mix of business that you currently sell, either as a distributor owner and having other salespeople, or as a salesperson, is it conducive to growth? The reason I say that is, again, when I started in the business, we may have had somebody writing $300,000 of business that had 300 accounts that averaged about $1,000. The one thing we all have in common is the amount of hours in a day and days in a week and weeks in a month. So, we have to make sure that if we're going to grow with the kind of accounts that are going to make us go to the next level, you have to make sure that your current package of business is conducive to allow that to happen. There's a way to do that. And we're going to get to it here in just a second, but I wanted to make a point. There's one thing I've noticed about salespeople in this industry. There's not much difference in talent, and you may or may not believe me on this, but I can tell you it's true. There's not that much difference in talent in a $250,000 producer and a $1 million producer. When I work in the field or visit somebody's office, there's not that much difference in what I really see in ability to get the job done. The difference between somebody that's, let's say, middle level to getting to what I'll categorize as a top producer, which I consider $1 million. Some of you may consider a top producer $500,000, $250,000, whatever the number is. The difference that I see is not so much their ability or what they have learned, it's the aptitude. It's applying the things that you know you need to do and doing it every day as if it's your own business, as if it's you incorporated. And so we're going to get into some things now where we're going to talk about how you take yourself to the next level. We've already talked about how you need to think a little differently about your business, how you need to set a goal, how you need to think differently about getting to that goal, and a little strategy in your mind to how you need to see you incorporated. But I want to take you now on some of the tactical steps to get from where you are to being $1 million producer, if that's your goal. And it's all aptitude. It's not the attitude, which is so important. The plan for success. Now, this is something I really like as an illustration. This has changed quite a bit from when I started in the business. The packages of business that we see as best and conducive for growth look kind of like this. Again, it used to be if you were a $1 million producer back in the 90s or 80s, you would have literally 300, 400, 500 accounts. But again, you get back to corporate America really buying into our business now. Program business that's available, large purchases that are out there. This might be the typical account package that you might look for. So if you look at somebody at a typical $500,000 package of business that I see every day, you're talking about what, 48 accounts to do $500,000 in business. Does that surprise many of you, or is that consistent with what you might think a typical package breakout might be? The reason I like to bring this out, anybody disagree with this or think it's off base a little bit? This is what we see as a typical business, and it allows you to plan your Dream 50 or Dream 25 top accounts that you want to go after in the new year. So the point to all this is it's okay in January of 2011 to actually let go of some accounts that are taking some of your time and leaving some prospecting time to go after the business that you need to go after. You all have accounts, and you know what I'm talking about, that take a ton of your time. They may write some decent revenue with you, but either their margins are very low, they squeeze you all the time on margins, or they want 15 proofs before they make a final decision. You all have those clients. The key is it's okay to fire a client if that's what you're into, because that's one of the ways that you need to grow. You have to really look at your time. Time management is so important if you're at one level and you want to grow to the next level. So don't think you have to cater to all these accounts. If you have other salespeople in your company that are, you know, still growing or just starting out, go ahead and sift some of these off to them. But it's okay to let accounts go. Just wanted to show you this illustration because that is what I see as a typical successful package of business at these different sales levels.
Do you by chance have this matrix somewhere that we can get?
Be happy to send anything that you see here today. Write a note on a card or whatever. I'm going to show you a couple other tools in a few minutes, and I'm always happy to share. There's nothing proprietary. Be happy to share. The question was, for those in video, do we have that matrix available that anybody could see? And I'll be happy to send that to anybody if you just want to let me know. Yeah.
I've got word back that the video's not coming through. I don't know if that's unique to us or y'all got confirmation on that.
On the video, I think there may have been a couple problems yesterday with video. Hopefully video's coming through fine today. Yesterday was kind of the test, and today we hope we've got it down. So if there's a problem, we won't know it right now, but we would know it later.